Recovering from narcissistic abuse, there's no doubt that there are some difficulties because this healing journey takes time and effort on your part. But how long might it take for you to recover from this trauma? This is a question that all victims of narcissistic relationships ask themselves. Although my communication style is in a factual form to convey information easily, it's essential to know that everything we discuss about narcissism isn't specific to any particular gender, whether it's women or men. The narcissistic personality we're talking about can be either male or female. Thank you very much for your support. If you find this content helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it. Thank you for helping spread this message to those who can benefit from it. First and foremost, you need to understand that it's a long journey, and you shouldn't expect to recover and return to your previous self overnight after being in a toxic relationship. Certainly, it will take some time and effort to start breaking free from the influence that the narcissistic person had on your mental and emotional health. Despite that, it's very possible to heal and recover from these effects if you follow the right path to recovery. If you were to ask a doctor or an expert in narcissistic relationships about the average time a victim needs to heal, they might tell you it can take anywhere from 12 to 18 months. However, they would also tell you that there are specific stages the victim goes through during this healing journey. You're undoubtedly aware of narcissistic and toxic individuals, but you might not have imagined that this could happen to you. That's entirely normal. At the beginning of the relationship, you likely had disbelief and complete denial because you couldn't believe that you, out of all people, fell victim to a narcissistic relationship. Despite clear signs that you noticed, you continued in the relationship, rationalizing what you saw or experienced as not real, thinking you might be exaggerating or being overly sensitive. Perhaps, your close friends or loved ones tried to get your attention or open your eyes to what was happening, but unfortunately, you persisted in the relationship despite all the abuse and terrible treatment you endured. What's crucial at this stage is that you start to doubt, even though you may not fully believe it yet. Doubt is what will allow you to reconsider your narcissistic relationship, and there will come a time when you confirm what you've been doubting and start taking steps to save yourself from what you're going through. This will be the beginning of your challenging journey of therapy and recovery, but despite everything, it's worth walking this path to save yourself and pull yourself out of the quagmire of narcissistic abuse. When you start asking yourself about the duration it will take to fully recover from narcissistic abuse, you must be aware that this journey is not a straightforward path. You will encounter ups and downs because, as I mentioned earlier, the healing journey is not easy, and it comes with its challenges. The truth, everyone, is that the first thing you'll encounter in this stage, which is the stage of doubt regarding the relationship, is a sense of guilt. You'll blame yourself for thinking of this person as a narcissist and may not fully grasp just how terrible they were. You'll spend a significant amount of time justifying their actions and mistreatment. Later, when you start to confirm the signs that indicate narcissistic traits in your partner, you'll again feel guilty. You'll ask yourself how you didn't notice all these signs and how you allowed yourself to get involved in such a toxic relationship. You'll keep telling yourself how you spent all this time with a narcissistic and abusive person and how you reached a point of disrespecting yourself and belittling yourself. All these questions will revolve in your mind, and instead of holding him responsible for his wrongdoing, you'll end up blaming yourself. This self-blame is, unfortunately, a result of the manipulation and gaslighting you endured from the narcissist. You're blaming yourself because you've been manipulated into thinking it's your fault for becoming their victim, and this is a subconscious attempt to absolve them of their wrongdoing. The next stage of negative emotions you'll experience is anger. Because you're still unable to deal with the pain, you'll find yourself angry at the person who abused you and also angry at yourself for choosing them and staying in the relationship for so long. Your anger will encompass the circumstances that led you to this situation. At this stage, you might even imagine that seeing the narcissist suffer and feel pain is the only thing that can provide you with some relief, even if you can't actually do anything to hurt or harm them. Your thoughts will be consumed by this. In summary, while you may not be able to directly hurt or harm the narcissist, your thoughts may be dominated by a desire for revenge and seeing them in pain. This is because you're still unable to process the pain and suffering you've been through, and it's a natural response to the emotional turmoil caused by narcissistic abuse. You might imagine that this is the only way to heal and regain your self-esteem and dignity that has been tarnished by this relationship. You may envision that this person must suffer as you have, believing it's the only way to stop feeling humiliated by them. I want to tell you honestly and sincerely that anger is not better than being sad, and seeking revenge is not a solution at all. In fact, seeking revenge will not mend your broken heart, even if you were able to seek revenge and felt like you had won. It won't heal the deep wounds caused by the abuse and mistreatment you endured for a long time. After anger comes another stage called bargaining. Before this stage, all you wanted was to seek revenge in any way possible to make the person suffer due to your intense hatred and your decision not to return to them, no matter what. At least, that's what you believed or felt at the time. However, the reality is quite different because you are still in a state of vulnerability to a considerable extent. The evidence for this is that you don't feel stable. After going through the stage of anger toward the narcissist, you start thinking of ways to help them or make them change. In this stage, you may even try to establish communication with them. Please note that doing this can make it very difficult for you to heal from this relationship. Remember that the toxic person is highly skilled at manipulation, and it's effortless for them to manipulate the situation and change everything you've planned. What will happen is that the narcissist will put in maximum effort to make it appear that they are the victim, not you. You will not believe or accept anything they say, but deep inside, you will have a strong desire to allow them back into your life. Consequently, you will be willing to accept all their excuses and justifications. The next stage is no contact. I won't lie to you when I say that this is the most challenging stage in the healing journey because it's the most critical step against the narcissistic person. Everything that happened before took place in your mind and heart, but this stage involves taking action to cut off contact with them. When you want to exit an abusive relationship and ask about the duration it will take to overcome narcissistic abuse, the most important thing is to sever all ties with the person who mistreated you and completely avoid contact. You must understand well that this person is suffering from a severe personality disorder, so forget the idea of continuing a normal relationship with them. Trust me, there is no way to make the narcissist understand or accept that you're cutting off contact with them. You should do it from your side without explaining or giving any reasons because it's impossible for a narcissist to accept the loss of their victim, no matter the reasons. It's even better to distance yourself physically from any place they might be, block all their social media accounts, and consider changing your phone number if necessary. What we've discussed is more challenging when the relationship is within the family, like with parents or a coworker or a spouse with whom you have to continue the relationship for the sake of children, for example. In such cases, if it's a coworker, limit communication to work-related matters only. If it's a spouse, limit your conversations to matters concerning the children, if applicable. Unfortunately, when dealing with a narcissistic parent, it's best to completely disregard family ties or any feelings of guilt. I want to clarify that I'm talking about toxic and harmful relationships, not normal, healthy ones, as some people might think that I'm encouraging disputes among people. May God protect us from such situations. In any case, the most important thing is to ignore the narcissist as much as possible. As you know, a narcissist's primary reliance is on your reaction, and the type of reaction doesn't matter. What matters is that they need to extract it from you at any cost. This is what enables them to feel like they have power over you. What is required of you, strongly, is not to give them any reaction. If the narcissist is convinced and reaches a point where he doesn't get any reaction or response from you, he will eventually leave you because he will find 2, 3, or 4 other victims, and you won't be able to prevent him from continuing his life in his own way. The stage that comes after this, you will find yourself in good times that you go through, and over time, you will notice that you have truly freed yourself from the bad situation you were in. This stage is where you should learn how to love yourself again and prioritize yourself above all else. It is very important that you work on yourself as much as you can. Narcissism and its bad memories won't disappear from your mind overnight, but what you will do and the steps you will take on the path to recovery from the narcissistic relationship will eventually remove them from within you and from your life entirely. Many victims may not have the ability to overcome all of this on their own, which is why they often need a support system that includes assistance from people who truly care about them or from a specialized therapist. You are not weak, but you fell victim to someone suffering from a severe personality disorder. It is natural to face some difficulties as you break free from their narcissistic influence. You will find many people who have gone through what you have experienced and suffered from the same problem you are in. You can find them around you, and this will make you feel that you are not alone at all. You will find people who love you and many who want to help you. The stage that comes after this is rebuilding yourself. This is one of the most challenging parts of recovering from narcissistic abuse, rebuilding yourself from scratch. Narcissism, when it first encountered you at the beginning of the relationship, had the power to shatter your personality. This traumatic experience changed a lot about your true identity. Therefore, it's now time to search for your previous self and reclaim the true personality you had before falling into this negative trap. Certainly, without making fun of ourselves, the experience you've been through will leave painful effects on your mental health. However, with time, the wounds inside you will heal completely, although there will still be some traces, even if they are minor. This doesn't mean that the broken parts inside you cannot be repaired. I'm trying to convey that you shouldn't expect to return to the exact same person you were before narcissism entered your life. Despite this, all you need to do is rebuild yourself and your personality from scratch. This period will undoubtedly be difficult, and you will find yourself forgetting many things about yourself, such as what you love and what you don't. You will discover that you can't distinguish between your true qualities and the ones that were implanted in you during your relationship with the narcissist. The stage that comes after this, despite anything and throughout all these stages, the narcissistic abuser will still be present in your heart and mind. There will be moments when you feel like you can't continue or weaken when you find some hope that your previous relationship might improve. During this time and in this stage, you see the reality as it truly is, without any false illusions. You will find yourself no longer making excuses for the narcissistic person and not justifying their abuse at all. At this point, you stop blaming yourself for what happened. Hope that the narcissist will change or that they have any empathy or goodness will disappear completely. You now fully realize that they suffer from a severe mental illness and truly need help, but there's nothing you can do to change them. Initially, this will be extremely painful for you, but over time, you will gain freedom from the bad situation you were in with the narcissist. You will have understood that narcissistic behavior is abnormal, and you shouldn't expect anyone else to treat you poorly like that. In this stage, you will be able to enter a new relationship and connect with someone who truly deserves you and values you. However, I want to emphasize that you should be very cautious when entering a new relationship during this time because you are still vulnerable and could easily fall in love too quickly. Be very careful during this period when starting a new relationship. The stage that comes after this is accepting reality and forgiving. It's the time when you accept the current situation and forgive yourself. You completely stop trying to find a specific explanation for what happened because there truly wasn't a logical reason for what you went through. You won't forget easily what you've been through, but if you forgive, it's for your own well-being and mental peace, which are the most important things to you right now. Before anything else, you forgive yourself for your wrong choices and understand and assure yourself that you are a normal person, not crazy or foolish, because you were a victim. By doing this and accepting your mistakes, you won't allow them to undermine your self-worth. Finally, you've been able to find the strength to forgive the narcissistic person who harmed you. And of course, you will never allow them to re-enter your life, even if your entire life depends on their return. But you will forgive them for your own sake. At this point, you've realized that all your anger, resentment, and hatred towards the narcissist won't harm anyone but yourself. The only way to free yourself from the influence of this abusive person is to let go of your anger and all the negative feelings towards them. Once you feel and see that you've learned something from this terrible experience, you'll know that you've fully recovered. One of the things you'll feel you've learned is to prioritize yourself and take care of your mental and emotional health above all else. You'll discover your true worth and learn to love yourself more than anyone else. Moreover, you'll build your self-respect in a way you couldn't have imagined, and you'll realize that you are your own soulmate, not needing anyone emotionally more than yourself. Most importantly, This relationship will teach you what real love is and what manipulation and love bombing mean, along with all the other tactics narcissists use to ensnare their victims. Certainly, this experience is painful, no doubt about it, but it holds great value in your life because it will make you stronger than ever before. I hope you have benefited from this episode, and God willing, we will meet again in the next episode with a new topic. Thank you all, and peace be upon you and God's mercy and blessings.